All right, guys, we're going to actually spend today reviewing a little bit about coordinate planes before we jump straight into graphing linear equations and parabolas. Okay, we will spend the next 3 weeks on this chapter, give or take, before finals. But this whole day one should be review. All right, what we're going to mostly see is stuff like this moving forward. But I do want to spend a day reviewing some of the stuff that you guys have seen before, but it's probably good to see again. First thing is we have a coordinate plane right here. Our coordinate planes have two lines. We have our x-axis, which are horizontal, and then our vertical that goes straight up and down is our y-axis. Okay, and we need to know x and y because of coordinate pairs. When we have a coordinate pair, such as this, we have x comma y, and x is always where we move first, and y is where we move second. So we always move right or left first. So we always move right or left first, then up or down. And I'll make that bigger for you. So I just wrote those in both these boxes, but basically the x coordinate is the first number and the y coordinate is the second number. So the x controls the left and right movement, and the y controls the up or down. The origin is always the starting point of every graph. You guys are very much going to need to identify that when graphing lines. We won't need it as much today, but it's very important to understand what the origin is. The origin is just the part where it's 0, 0. That is where we start every graph. Okay, as we start this middle part and we move from there when graphing points. Okay, we don't move from the last point that we first graphed. We move always from 0, 0. And then we have coordinates. We have 4 different coordinates that create the graph. We have our top right, which is when it consists of 2 positive numbers. We have our top left, is when we have a negative and a positive number. But notice that our x is negative and our y is positive. Down below in coordinate 3, we have 2 negatives. And in coordinate 4, we have a positive and a negative. So those are just the 4 coordinates. Again, these are just basics of graphing. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is graphing some points, which hopefully this is all just a very basic review. And then we're going to construct a table, which what you guys are going to do for homework. Okay. So first off, remember we are always x comma y. All right. So x controls our first number, y controls our second number. I'll use red for number 1. I'll circle that. So 3 is our first number, so we're going to go to our graph. We always start at 0, 0. We move 1, 2, 3. Now, the nice thing with the cami is I can make a dot there. But that's only the first part of this problem. That's over 3, up 4. So from there, I gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's officially where I'm going to make my coordinate. And now I can go back and erase my first one. Okay. So you should always have one dot for each pair of numbers. So number 2 is going to create a dot of its own. This time we're going up, to the right one, because we always move right or left, right or left, and then up or down. Okay. So we're going to move to the right one, and then you see -3, so that means down 3. 1, 2, 3. And there's our dot. Remember that these are like -1 right here, and this is -1, -2 up here. So down to the left is negatives. Negative, negative, and this is positive and positive. Okay, I don't have all the numbers down here, but if you need to go back up and like zoom in on one of these pictures, like if you forget, you could see, okay, positive, 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 negative, 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 negative. By now, hopefully that's all very much a review for you guys. So there's my second one. I'll go to my third one. I'll make that one in black. This one we have -4, so we're going to go straight to the left first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, boom. And then lastly, we have D, which we'll put in purple. And that is -8, -4. So that's going to be, we have 1 in each coordinate so far. Coordinate 1, coordinate 2, Coordinate 3 is a double negative coordinate. So 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. That's a reminder on how to graph, okay? You guys are going to do a very quick IXL on this that you guys should be able to shoot through. All right, just getting you practicing, reminding yourselves how to graph coordinate pairs. The reason they're called coordinate pairs is because it's a pair of numbers that creates a coordinate. Now, what we're going to do over here is we're going to graph this line, guys. And this is what you've all done before, and this is the more important part of coordinate pairs and what graphing is. A linear equation is an equation that's linear, right? And linear means a line. And this is what we're going to spend a lot more time tomorrow and Wednesday on. So in order to graph this, all we need to do is make an XY chart. All right, so we have our XY chart. And we need to plot points. We have to find points that make this line true. And so we can put numbers in for X and find out what Y would be. So the easiest numbers always to choose are numbers like 0, 1, and 2. There's nice small numbers. Now notice, you guys get to choose those numbers. You guys get to pick those numbers, okay? And those are the numbers I picked. Now we just need to plug them in. So I'm going to scroll down here. I have Y equals 2. Now it's not going to be X, it's 2, 0. Right? Because I'm going to plug my 0 in plus 1. So I'm plugging this 0 in for this equation. And then I get 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1, so that Y equals 1. So when X is 0, Y is 1. We have one coordinate pair now. Now we need a second one. So let's plug in 1 instead. So now I'm going to do Y. Oh, I don't know what's going on in here. We have Y equals 2 times 1 plus 1. All right, so now if I need to, I'm going to put that in my calculator. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And last but not least, I'll do the same thing and I'll plug 2 in. Y equals 2 times 2 plus 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. Y equals 5. Now, we could plug in more than 3 dots. We usually like to have 3 to 5 dots minimum on a coordinate on a table, okay? But just to show you guys, I could also plug in like -1, right? It would be up here though. So I can squeeze that in, -1, because it comes before 0. And you could choose that as a number 2. The only reason why negatives get tricky is because they do, you have to be just a little more careful with your math. So you have 2 times -1 plus 1. So you got 2 times -1 is -2 plus 1 is -1. So you got -1. That would go with that. Okay. So let's go ahead and plot this now. So we have 0, 1. So 0, I'm not moving at all. But then, let's go with red. But then I'm going up 1. So that is my first point. My second point is 1 to the right. And then up 3. And then my third point is over 2. 1, 2, and up 5. There we go. Then I also could do -1, -1. And notice it makes a nice straight line. And get out my linear equation line right there. Goes through all the points perfectly. And there's our line. You also can notice that this little 2, that's called our slope. We'll remind you guys all what that means again tomorrow. That is our slope. And so that's how fast our line should move going up. And notice it goes up 1, 2 over 1. So it goes up 2 over 1. And all of them should be the same way. 1, 2 over 1. 1, 2 over 1. So where would my next point be? 1, 2 over 1 would be right there. 1, 2 over 1. So slope controls, we can actually graph an entire line by that slope. And this is our B coordinate, which we'll get into later. So guys, that's what you guys are going to be doing today. You're going to be doing a quick little IXL on this. And I have not found one on this yet, but if I find one, I will tell you guys in class, and you guys will be doing a quick little one on this too, just to get a reminder on graphing. All right, guys, we'll see you later.